comes up today? Is he a pitcher? Okay, he's a pitcher. Guillaume goes down, and they bring up Batista. Here's the Met lineup. Batista's batting, this Batista, their regular Batista's batting leadoff. Conforto, Frazier, Cabrera, Flores, Smith, Plawecki, Reyes in the lineup again for Rosario. He did have 2 hits to left field last night, a single and a double. So he plays again, and Mats. That's the Met lineup tonight against the Buccos. So Reyes in the lineup again. Rosario sits again. Boy, oh boy. Rich in Staten Island. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Mike. My point is about the Yankees getting J.A. Happ.
Yeah.
Why do a lot of other Yankee fans think he's like the solution to our problems when we have a lot of elite starting pitchers who in our top prospects? Why don't the Yankees call up?
Well, how do you have no proven guys there, though. I mean, Tanaka, if he's healthy, can be proven, but you can't count on Herman or any of the kids who have never been in the playoffs before and be assured that they're going to pitch well in the postseason. I mean, that's why if you get it now. You might be able to get better than Happ. If you do, fine. But Happ is not going to cost you that much, and he is proven to be a quality pitcher. He's a veteran quality pitcher who has spent a lot of time pitching against the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yeah, but the main reason we'd be acquiring him is for the Astros, and he did not have a good start against them last night.
Well, that's not true. See, that's not true that the only reason you would be starting him is against the Astros. Well, you got to take the Astros, the Red Sox, and the Indians all equally seriously. You could see any one of them in a long series. So you don't know for sure who it's going to be. So you got to take all those teams, those 3 teams, you have to take them all seriously, and that includes the Indians. Do not count the Indians out. I understand they're not going to win the number of games that the other teams did this year, but they could be a very tough team. They've won 7 games in a row right now. They're going to right their bullpen and problems. They have very good starting pitching, and they're a dangerous team that really would love to pay the Yankees back for last year. So and so you got to take all those teams seriously, and that's why he's a veteran, solid pitcher. That's all. If you needed a pitch, would I have confidence in Happ in a big start? I would personally, because I think I've seen him throw a lot of good games in his life.
I don't know about that, but I agree with the other points. Just I don't know. Happ doesn't do it for me.
So you think you could go with an unproven minor leaguer over a guy like Happ?
I think they should, see what they have for 5 or 6 weeks before the trade deadline.
How would you do that though? Because the guy comes up and he pitches well as a kid. If you see Herman right now. You tell me you think you know whether Herman's going to throw a good game in the playoffs or not right now?
Herman didn't have the prospect status that Sheffield and some of the other guys
Yeah, but
have.
you know what? Those guys aren't ready to pitch in the majors, no less ready to pitch in the playoffs. I mean, if they were ready to pitch in the majors, they'd be here. They're not even here yet. I mean, so the idea that they're going to be your guys to answer for next year is very unlikely. Not that many rookies come up and pitch that well in the postseason. I mean, so it's not the Yankee pitcher that you think about as a rookie who comes into a pennant race and becomes a star is Mel Stottlemyre, 1964. The Yankees made 2 moves down the stretch of that 64 season in a 3-way pennant race with the White Sox and the Orioles. They were in a 3-way pennant race with those 2 teams. And they needed to rejuvenate their pitching staff. So what they did was they did 2 things. They traded for a relief pitcher named Pedro Ramos, and they went and they plucked a kid named Mel Stottlemyre out of the minor leagues. And Mel Stottlemyre went 9-3 the rest of the way, and also pitched well in the World Series. So and that was as a rookie. Did a great job. So, but that's catching lightning in a bottle, for that to happen. Matt in Red Bank, what's up, Matt?
Hey, Mike, thanks for taking the call.
What's happening?
I was having an argument yesterday with a bunch of friends riding the high horse on the Yankee train, which is good for them.
Right.
But we were getting an argument about the Mets.
Right.
You're absolutely right. It's at a low point. I can't watch anymore after watching religiously for 20 years. So if I'm to sell the tickets I have, which I already sold half of them for the next 4 games over in August, September, but I'm not going to watch anymore. I just can't. I can't keep going the same thing, the Callaway post-game interviews. In your definition, does that make me a bad fan for giving up?
You're talking to the wrong guy, because I don't define fans. I don't define what a fan is, okay? Being a fan is your recreation. I think anyone who defines fans for people is a fool. okay? You have a right to be any kind of fan you want to be. You can be a casual fan. You can be a diehard fan. You can be any kind of fan you want. That's your business, what kind of fan you are. I don't try to define what kind of fan somebody is. I mean, I'll leave that for somebody else. So, Mark in Setauket. What's up, Mark?
You know, Mike, you mentioned a lot of first basemen for the Mets, but, you know, Wilmer Flores is the Mets' first baseman. That guy will hit if you give him enough.
Against lefties, he will. But he's not the guy you want to be your... You could play Wilmer anywhere, though. You don't have to play him at first base.
That's the problem. They never give him a position to play. He's only 26 years old.
Yeah, but he's never proved... I like Wilmer. But to me, Wilmer is a part-time player. He's not a full-time player. He's not an everyday 500-at-bat guy. He's never proved he is. I don't think
he's never gotten the chance.
Yeah, but he also, let's be honest, he doesn't hit right-handed pitching that well. He's not a good fielder. He's slow. He has his drawbacks. He does one thing really well. He kills left-handed pitching.
He's hitting right. He hit a right-hander last night, I believe, for a 3-run homer.
But his career, go look at his numbers.
Yeah, I know, but lately he's hitting righties.
Well, that's just lately. But for his career, he doesn't hit righties. If you look,
he's only 26 years old. I mean, he's only been around for 3 or 4
but he's
years.
not. He doesn't have a position, and he's slow.
Well, there's a lot of slow first basemen who can hit.
He's not a first baseman, though. He's not an everyday first baseman. An everyday first baseman you're hoping is a guy who hits home runs. That's not Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores is not a home run hitter. He'll hit some home runs, but he's not a home run hitter. He hit 15 home runs. That's fine. That's good for him. I like Wilmer. Wilmer's a good guy to have on your team. Platoon him, pinch hit, play once in a while. It's a good guy to have on your team. He's not your everyday first baseman. If he is, you don't have a good team. Dave in Rockville Center. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good.
Mike, your analysis of that Betances at bat was very puzzling. You know, I mean,
what do you mean? What do you mean analysis of the bat? It's the first time he's been up since high school, and
okay, Mike,
and these guys shouldn't hit.
Can I make my point?
Yeah, good.
Let's set aside what should be, would be, and could be. Right. We're playing a baseball game last night within the rules.
Yeah.
His approach at the plate was unacceptable for a manager to send him out there with that approach, and it's unacceptable for him as a professional athlete. I haven't swung a bat since high school either. I am less likely to go up there myself and either make a fool out of myself.
You would make a total fool of yourself if you went up there.
No. Let me finish. Then I'm less likely to make a fool out of myself by sticking the bat out and hoping the ball hits it, or by keeping the bat on my shoulder, than he is to get injured by swinging as hard as he could at the ball.
So
why don't you address that point?
He didn't take it seriously.
No, but his approach wasn't acceptable, because you have to take your business, your job seriously. If he gets hurt by swinging the bat as hard as he can... That is the point.
He is not a hitter.
Right, but
he has not practiced
Mike, but
hitting.
That's not a protest. Mike, that's not a protest against the DH rule by going out there and doing something stupid. He has to go out there and do either.
You know what they probably told him? You know what they probably told him when he went up there last night?
They should have told him, don't swing the bat, keep it on your shoulder.
Well, they probably told him, don't get hurt. It's probably what they told him.
Right, but if he hasn't taken it at bat since high school, they should have been very, very careful. And last night, we're lucky that we don't have him.
He shouldn't have been up there. I agree with you. He shouldn't have been up there. And the point was,
but he was up there,
right? And they did, and the team didn't see. But here's the thing, though: the reaction to it should have spoken volumes to you. The team thought it was funny. Okay? Nobody treats him like a hitter. They don't care that he's up there. They don't teach him to be up there. They don't want him taking batting practice. They don't want him thinking about hitting, nor running the bases. So if you wanted him up there to just take 3 strikes, fine. He could have done that. He went up there to have some fun, all right, and he made a joke of it. I understand that. But it just shows you how ludicrous the whole situation is, because he's not a hitter. He's not trained to be a hitter. The Yankees don't train him to hit. The Yankees would prefer that he never hits. He is a world-class relief pitcher. That's his job. In a league that has a DH. Joe in Jersey. What's up, Joe?
Yeah, Mike, I agree that the DH should be in both leagues, but since the National League is not going to do it,
I'm not so sure anymore. I think we might be moving towards the point where the commissioner might have to put his foot down.
Yeah, but let me give you an alternative. How about if the National League adopts a designated runner rule? where
no.
gets on base, and you
How does
put
that help the
somebody in
hitting?
there.
How does it help the hitting?
No, it avoids injuries to pitchers.
How do you help the hitting, though?
You're not helping the hitting.
Okay.
You're avoiding the possible injury.
Well, it could get hurt. It could get hurt batting too, though.
I agree with you.
Well, my point is, he shouldn't even be up. He shouldn't even be up at all.
The DH in both leagues is the way to go.
And we both agree on that. And unfortunately for the NL purist, it's the only thing that's going to happen because it's never going to go away. The DH is never leaving. They're not going to add a pinch runner for this reason. They don't want to add another roster spot. And you know what? They don't have the ability to waste guys for just pinch running. They don't have the ability to do that. For the pitcher spot. Now, unless you're going to tell him the guy's a non-roster player, and he does that, but they don't want to pay him. So they're not going to want to do that because they're not going to want to pay him. Nate in Rockland County. What's up, Nate?
Hi, Mike. I just wanted to make a point about the Mets and the Yankees.
Go ahead.
One thing about ownership, they got to bring, when they fire Sandy, they got to bring in somebody from somebody else. Every single time
they got to bring in for somebody from somebody else. What does that mean exactly?
Meaning from outside the Mets. If you look at the Astros, what they did.
All right, fine. Well, they brought Sandy in from the outside, you know. He didn't come from inside the Mets.
Okay, well, they brought him in because of the whole Madoff thing.
Well, he also is a guy who was a proven general manager. He wasn't like he had never been a general manager before.
And also about the Yankees. One thing I'm getting so crazy about this, doesn't happen anyway. Tell them next time not to do it, and that's it.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks for that wonderful contribution. Rusty in Long Island. What's up, Rusty?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
I'm just surprised, and I agree with everything you've said about the DH. I'm just surprised the National League hasn't acknowledged yet that they're playing at a disadvantage overall when they're playing in the American League parks. The disadvantage is much greater for the National League team than it is for the American League team in the National League park. Because you have
men's,
a bench player going up to DH versus, say, if they play the Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton. That's a much bigger disadvantage than my poor hitting pitcher versus.
Well, but a lot of times on the other, it's half of one because a lot of times the best hitter on the American League team might not play in the National League park. I mean, he might not.
Like the Red Sox, they find a place.
Well, wait a second. Sometimes, but not always. Not always. Not always, though. Not always. Take a breath. Not always. Not always. Jeez, take a breath, please. Every DH doesn't play the field. Not always. And they play the field at a tremendous detriment to the defense. So it's not always an advantage just for the American League team. And sometimes I can remember when the Yankees, say in the '76 World Series, played the Red Sox. The Red Sox, played the Reds. Their DH killed the Yankees. His name was Dan Dreesen. I think they used Dan Dreesen and Ken Griffey as the DHs. Ken Griffey Sr. I think they killed the Yankees in that series. Those two guys. So you could have a guy sometimes on a bench who's good, who gets in the lineup on a team like the Big Red Machine and pounds away. So, again, Big Papi didn't want to go play in the field. Edgar, I don't even think, went in the field in the last couple of years. When he was the DH, I don't think he ever went in the field. So, I mean, there's a great hitter who was never in the lineup. So, it's 50-50. Bottom line is it's silly to have a sport. It's the only sport that has one set of rules except for one rule. It doesn't make any sense. They no longer have two leagues. They once had two leagues. They no longer have two leagues. They no longer have two league offices. They no longer have two umpire sets. They no longer have NL president, American League president, National League president. They did away with everything except one thing. They didn't do away with the DH. They need to do away with the two different rules in the two different leagues and play it as one set of rules. Show some guts if you're the commissioner and make it a uniform sport. Here's the Mink Man.